$100. I'm like, bro, like if you're not willing to spend $100, you got no hope, bro. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Every
like
money don't make.
no, like that's exactly it. Like,
Welcome to the Gym Podcast. Hosted by KWOK. GAV is a millennial entrepreneur and digital nomad who went from broke college student to financial freedom in less than 3 months. This is the Gym Podcast. And this is KWOK.
thank you for tuning in. My mission for this podcast is to help you, no matter what age or background you come from, to crush it in your professional and personal endeavors. Whether you're an entrepreneur or not, listen in to discover what it really takes to be successful. This podcast is raw, unfiltered, and not politically correct. If you're easily offended, then stop listening and get the fuck off. I created this podcast to help out those who are committed to being successful and wanting more out of life. I hope that with this podcast, I can help accelerate your journey to success. All right, yo, what's up? This is Shungunna, networking master, and honestly one of like the most cool, genuine guys I've ever met. Say what's up, Shun.
What's going on, Gavin? Hey, much respect. Thank you for having me on the podcast.
Of course, man. Of course. I've been wanting to get you on it for a while.
Let's
Yeah.
do it.
All right, let's dive right the fuck in then. Okay, so for those who might know your story, might not, like, tell us like a little bit about you before you became, Shungunna, like master networker, like, maybe a little about like your childhood, your upbringing,
Okay, so yeah, growing up in general, I grew up in born and raised in San Diego. I lived in an all-black community, only Asian family, and that pretty much insinuated that I had to like watch my back, watch how I talked, who I hung out with, all that stuff, and it was like just kind of growing up a little under the middle class like range, and just struggling throughout life financially. You know what I mean? And when I learned about like success in general, I thought that you had to go to school to get good grades to get a job and then become successful, but that obviously wasn't the case. You know what I mean?
Of
So
course.
I ended up dropping out of high school and also college, and it was just I just pursued dancing instead. So breaking actually. And for those of you who don't know like what breaking is, it's like when you spin on your head, and you're like going in handstands and stuff like that. I did that, pursued that instead of like school. It took me around the world, and I still do it to this day as well. But I realized that like you can't really make like a lot of money like through dancing. So so I ended up finding myself working 2 jobs, 3 side hustles on the side just to make ends meet. And then I learned about entrepreneurship. And once I learned about entrepreneurship, that's when I started to learn about like how you should be like networking, like personal development, mindset, growing, you're having vision, all that stuff. And it led me to learning about this guy named Ty Lopez. And so for those of you who don't know who Ty Lopez is, just look him up, Google him. But he's like one of the best like marketers online for one. I was personally mentored by him, and then after that happened, I branched off his company and then started my own like businesses. And after that, like I just took off. I used like all the skill sets that I learned throughout my years. Like it's been like maybe 5 years now that I've been in the entrepreneurship like game, and it's just been a blessing beyond measure, because I just was able to kind of stack all those skills and just formulate it and really just like make it like my own, and then that's how I led my life. I believe in like dominating your path no matter what it is, and so as long as you have that clear vision for yourself and that path that you make, and you have like all those coaches and those mentors like guiding you, then it's really up to you, and like that's all it takes. You know what I mean? So taking all that massive action and going after that.
Nice, that's dope. Yeah. Honestly, you just covered like so many topics that I was gonna go into. Just like fucking stole it. But yeah, that's awesome, man. Like, yeah, like what you said. Um, like you probably like came from like it sounds like you came from like a tough upbringing, and like I'm sure you've been through like tough times. Like, like what like kind of like pushed you through it, and like through those tough times.
Got you. So there's a quote that says you want to be pulled by your vision instead of pushed by your pain, right? And for me, like in the beginning, always very like pushed by pain because like financially speaking, like our backs were always against the wall, so we're always looking for that next dime that we can make, that next buck, however like it took to make it. And I was like really motivated by my pain, like I wanted to like help my family out, and that was like my biggest driver, and it still is to this day. Like I want to help my family become financially free, so that way they don't have to worry about like the stress that comes with like the burdens of having financial like struggles. And I would say like that would be like the biggest thing that like motivated me. And then on top of that, like freedom, you know, because for me, like going to school, like I felt like I was in a box. I felt like I was just a prisoner, you know, and like not learning shit either, like in school. And yeah, it was like super whack. And for me, I hated that. I didn't like that lifestyle whatsoever. So I just pursued like whatever like outlet I could pursue that would give me freedom in general, alongside the financial freedom as well. And yeah, it was pretty much like dancing, and then realizing that like I can't make any money as an artist. As right now, obviously, now
Right.
you can social media and stuff, but back then that was like very difficult. You would have to be signed by an agency or like like do some crazy shit to get like known and stuff. And yeah, I just learned about business, and then after that, I started scaling that. One of the biggest driving factors was actually retiring my grandpa. My brother and I, like, we put our heads together, and then we came up with the funds, and we retired him. I was 25, he was 23, and it was just a blessing beyond measure. But the biggest driver for that like action was my grandpa saying that he would have to work for the rest of his life until the day he died. So never like having freedom, never having like retirement, like never experiencing the things that he wanted to experience, and that like really pushed us to a limit where like we have to do something different, because for things to change, you have to change, and for things to get better, you have to get better, right? So literally, with that being said, we always like pushed ourselves to the limit, like doing whatever the fuck like opportunity came about, so that way we can just like like fulfill those like goals that we had, and like long story short, they became fulfilled, So
Yeah, I love that, man. Like what you said, like freedom was like one of your biggest motivating factors. Like I literally just got had freedom like tattooed on my chest, like right here.
oh,
Yeah. It's like it's been like my highest value in life, and like I can relate. Like I'm sure you can relate to this, but like everything that I've ever done in my life has been like in the search for like freedom in some way, whether it's like financial freedom, like kind of like spiritual freedom, like social freedom, like be able to kind of like do what you want, like when you want, like with whoever you want,
100%.
you
Yeah,
know.
fact.
Like I love that. I feel like we have like similar values in that way. Um, that's awesome, man. No, but
I
like,
agree.
yeah. But actually, like, I was just going this from the beginning, but like, where are you at right now, man?
I'm actually in so I live like in a complex. I'll show you a little bit.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, this is like the tennis courts and like basketball courts.
Nice.
And then
You have
there's
like,
like a little right here.
yeah, nice.
Um, Apartments are like over here on this side. There's like
Okay.
a yeah, for me, like whenever I look at like a place to like live at, like there's I got it from like Ty Lopez. He says that you want to live within 2 miles of everything that you do in life. So that could be like your job, like grocery store, laundry, basketball, like gym, all that stuff. You know what I mean? Like, so for me, whenever I look at a place that I want to live at, I always incorporate everything to optimize my life for like whatever I want personally. So I like swimming, like I like going to the gym. I like having I just don't want to drive anywhere. You know what I mean? Like that's the bottom line. I want everything to be like around me, so that way I can just have access easily for that to like just pretty much better my life in general, and just like reduce the friction in whatever I do in my life. You know what I mean? So that's how I like to live. Full amenities, like all that stuff. Like I'm kind of like a princess when it comes to that shit. Like
Nice. Yeah, like you're not like wasting your time as
yeah,
well.
that's a
And
big.
like, and you like you make it easy for yourself to like say like go to the gym or something. Like it's like kind of like lifestyle design. Like you want everything to kind of like synergize together in a
Yep.
way. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Optimizing for the good life, and that's like how Ty would say it. And so, I just want to optimize my life for like yeah, pretty much reducing the time that it takes to like get from point A to point B. You know what I mean? Like in reducing all the friction that it takes to like get like your goals like done. All that stuff. Everything I do, even like into business, like I want to reduce like the amount of time that it takes to be like from starting to success. Like all that stuff. So even in my lifestyle, like because the thing is like how you live your life is the way it's gonna like eventually lead up to like everything else. If you have clarity in everything that you do in life, then you're gonna be able to have clarity in multiple things that you want to pursue. And when I do that, like especially with just my living situation, it helps me like clear my mind. It helps me have better focus, and I'm able to like really just take action on things I want to do at a faster rate, so that way I can get to that ultimate goal.
100%. Yeah. So you're currently in Newport Beach right now, right?
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
yeah, right. Yeah. Well, anyways, I'm recording right now in Las Vegas, so yeah,
Oh shit, let's go.
yeah, yeah, man. Dude, no, like I've been here for like a week so far, and I was literally like, I was only gonna be here for a week, then I was gonna leave, but I was like, fuck it, like I like this place, so I literally like booked another month at like freaking Airbnb, so now I'm just
And
chilling.
that's the stuff. That's like that's like options. Like what like something that money like can give you is options, right? And
Hmm.
options equals freedom because you can do whatever the fuck you want to do whenever you want to do it with whoever you want to do it. And I think that's why like a lot of people get into entrepreneurship too,
Mhm.
because of the fact, you know, there's a
Right.
B right.
Well,
I have a friend here like recording stuff too, so it's like
nice. Yeah, no, like that's a big thing about like online business as well, or like whatever. Like you can like travel wherever the fuck you want. Like you're not tied down to one place. And
that.
what you said about like freedom, like how many people like can just like, oh, like I was like, I'm here for a week, but I want to stay another month or two, you know? And it's just because I can,
Exactly.
like most people have like a job or something, who like you can't have a month of days off or some shit, you know?
Right.
Or like you might
Right.
not have the money to do that or whatever. And like I feel like a lot of people, yeah, as you said, like get into this because they want that lifestyle. It's like a lifestyle business or a lifestyle, design in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty much. Yeah. You're living your life by design, and that's like the biggest thing. Like that's like the beauty of entrepreneurship is that you can literally create whatever path you want to create, and then as long as you're making money with it, then like the lifestyle that you're gonna create, like is gonna be your own unique lifestyle that you personally want, and like no one could touch that. You know what I mean? Like there's gonna be so much respect to that. There's gonna be haters too, obviously, but at the same time, like it's for yourself because you go to the grave by yourself. You know, you don't bring anyone else like with you. Even the haters, you don't bring them with you. You know what I mean? So like it's freaking fire. Like I'm like congratulations on fucking doing that, bro.
Nice, man. Dude, like thank you so much. Yeah. Like I fucking like I mean I always tell people, man, like, anyone can achieve this lifestyle. Like a lot of people like don't think it's fucking possible to like be an online entrepreneur and like be making like tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands a month like online. And you can
Mhm.
literally like travel where the fuck you want in the entire world as long as there's Wi-Fi, you know?
That's right.
Like, like yeah, and like everyone thinks it's like I wouldn't talk, like rant too much about this, but like everyone thinks it's like a scam or something, or like, oh, it doesn't work, blah blah. I'm like, bro, like me, like
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like yeah, the fact that they like just question it, until they see your success, your personal success, that's
hmm
when they start to open their mind up, and yeah, like literally like in the beginning, like I was closed minded because I didn't know like what the possibilities were out there. You know what I mean? I didn't know about like abundance. I was like always living in a scarcity driven mindset, but just because I didn't know. And when I made that transition from scarcity to abundance, and I just opened my mind to like all the possibilities that life can offer you, like everything changed for me. And I started meeting like better people, like my lifestyle completely changed. Like everything like just changed just by opening my mind up. And the people who have like skepticism and like like haters, all that stuff, like it's like I don't have like, any remorse for them or like any mercy in general because like they chose that, like, it's their decision. And
right,
I had my fair share of haters, but I don't really care because like they're living their life and I'm living mine. And if they want help though, like then they can reach out and they can pay. You know what I mean? And they can like
exactly,
do the same. I think the same sacrifices that we made, both of us.
right.
To get where we're at. To get so it's just yeah. Like with that being said, like people like they just need to open the mind up, and that's just step one. Accept the fact that like there's something better out there, and if they're not going to accept that, then that's their loss. And ultimately, like at least we tried. You know what I mean? And that's it.
Right. Like right now, like I'm making enough money where I can like do whatever the fuck I want. And now like my mission now is like I want to help people like get to the same like lifestyle, Because like it doesn't drive me anymore. Like I have like the freedom to kind of do what I want, and that was my main motivating factor, you know?
Yeah.
And like I realized that as soon as I achieved it, I was like, fuck, like I've done it, you
Yes.
know?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's one of he says because the thing is like with success, like there's always a next level, right?
hmm
So he said this. He said that every level has a different devil, and what that means in general is the fact that like like when once you like achieve like that 10K mark, like oh maybe you want 100K mark like now, you know what I mean? Like it keeps on going over and over. But then the biggest thing that I've seen entrepreneurs like kind of lack in, and what they actually pursue after they've hit the success is the impact. Is like how do I influence people so that way I have happiness in myself as well as them. And yeah, that's like definitely something like to it's a challenge again. It's the next level, but obviously like we're gonna find it. You know what I mean? And we're gonna overcome it, and then we're gonna impact other people's lives for sure. Just like with this podcast in general too, like this is gonna open a lot of people's lives up, their minds up, and change the trajectory of their life. Ultimately, as long as like they choose that. So it's
Right.
freaking dope. This is fire.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's one of the biggest things like being open-minded. Like I say that's the biggest thing for people who want to like, get into entrepreneurship. Like it's all about being open-minded and like your mindset. Like like if you're not open-minded and you don't have that entrepreneur mindset, like you won't ever take action on it. Like you don't believe in it like 1,000% that you think it's possible. So why
Yeah.
are you gonna be putting in like 12 to 16 hours a day every fucking day for months upon end on something you don't even believe in? Like you're not gonna do it.
Yeah, exactly. It's so true. Yeah, 100%, bro. I definitely agree. Yeah, for me, like when I was working my jobs, like I literally was just clocking in, clocking out, just because I need that money, you know. And there was no purpose behind it. Like there was, because the thing is, like that money just went to the bills. So how can I even use that money to like invest into something else or like create another income stream? You know, I had no idea. On top of that, I didn't have the mentors like or the programs or like the guidance that I needed that was necessary to actually like take like maybe $20 from like the $300 paycheck I got and like put it into something else. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean,
starts with yeah.
yeah. Go ahead, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, it just starts with like with opening your mind. One of my mentors, he told me that the most expensive thing in the world. Do you know what that is?
Uh, I don't know.
Okay.
Oh,
Most
regret.
expensive thing in the
Okay,
world.
yeah. Right. That used to be
Okay, it's
my life motto, like to live a life of no regrets.
oh, it's fire.
Yeah.
That,
That was like actually it still is to this day. I don't regret anything. Like, like in the past like few years, I don't want to keep talking about myself, but like in the past like few years, like I've like always achieved that. Like I've always like whenever I do something, I don't want to regret ever not doing it. Like literally,
yeah.
yeah, like literally, I was in like Hawaii, and I was like, fucking like doing so much shit, and like I was like doing so much dangerous stuff. I like, yeah, and I was like, like the Stairway to Heaven in Oahu.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I climbed that like by myself, and
Wow.
yeah, and like I almost died like 3 times doing it, but I was like, fuck it, like I don't want to regret like not doing it.
Yeah. Okay. But okay, there's a difference. You want to take a calculated risk, right?
Yeah, I calculated the risk. I mean, it was calculated in a way.
Okay. Okay.
I had faith in my abilities because like I've done previous hikes before that were like pretty
Yeah,
dangerous
you're
as well.
that, bro.
Yeah, thanks for it. No, 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 but like no, I wouldn't do that if I wasn't physically prepared for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Bro,
Yeah.
yeah. Some people like watch something, they get super inspired, and then they just immediately take action
Mhm.
without like taking the precautions, or like the, just like extra steps, like just to make sure they're safe, and then something happens is fucking bad. So,
Okay. Yeah, no, I get where that's coming from. Okay.
but
Yeah. No, but yeah, no, but let's see. So next topic I wanted to like kind of go into was like, the people listening to this are like either in college, maybe they're even in high school, or like they're a young entrepreneur killing it, or maybe just someone who's like kind of like not where they want to be in life. Like, what would you tell that person to like to change their life, like if they're in that situation right now?
So the first thing is like, just accepting that fact that like they are open to something different, because that's gonna open their mind up, first. The second thing is to get like change their environment, so environmental exposure is like very powerful. So if they can get like surrounded with people who are like-minded, or people who are success driven, people who have success, people who have like what they want, if they just get themselves into a room full of like fucking winners and champions, it's gonna change their whole lifestyle, because now they're gonna be like, holy fuck, like who are these people? How come I've never seen them in my entire life? How come I've never met them before? How come my friends are not like them? All this shit. It's gonna change their life, and then from there, it's like it's literally gonna like teach them to like pursue whatever the fuck they want to pursue in life in general. Depending on the room that you get in, obviously. But first thing is accepting it, so that way your mind opens up. Second thing is environmental exposure, so that way you really know that it's fucking real, it's out there. And then the third thing, like I would say, is to definitely get that mentor. Like because you're already associating with people if you're in that room. So the third thing would be to like get that right mentor then, or even seek a bunch of mentors, so that way you can pick and choose like which path you really want to take. It goes like a lot deeper into it too, but just for a beginner in general, or just someone who's like trying to like go after something different in their life, those 3 steps. Just start with baby steps, because I can give you a whole list of shit to do, and you're not gonna do it. You know what I mean? So it's like you have to get those 3 steps in first, and then from there, make sure that you have that knowledge that it's real, because it is real. Like we're living it, we're living proof of it. There's multiple thousands and even like hundreds of thousands of people out there who have that success that you want as well. And it's all about just taking that risk and like just taking that leap of faith, and really just growing your wings on the way down in a way. So
I love it. I love it. Yeah, it's crazy that you just talked about that because I literally just recorded a podcast episode about environmental exposure.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I said it was like the one thing that changed my life, like 100%. Like, like, I remember like even just like half a year ago, I was making like no money, like, well, not like barely anything. I was making maybe like a few thousand a month, like nothing. Yeah, and like it was the one thing that changed my entire life, from like is like some like nothing into something. Like it was from like listening to like podcasts and audiobooks and like just like watching people and like going to like live events with like people that like had similar mindsets or people like much more successful than I was, you know.
Yeah,
Like you
that's
know like
fire.
Josh, like you know Josh and like Bun and like those guys, right? Like
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, like I was part of like their inner circle, and like I went to the events, and that shit like changed my life, man. Like,
that's freaking
it,
fire, bro. That's
hmm
where we met.
yeah, that's where we fucking met. And oh yeah, like we first met there. Yeah, for those who don't know, like I met Shun, and I thought he was just like one of the inner circle members, and I was like, like I think you wear like this dope ass jacket. I was like, oh, this guy looks cool, and like I just said like, what's up to you, and like you're super fucking cool, and I was like, yeah, and then I don't know, we just talked, and then you went
Yeah,
up. I was like, oh, I know that dude. Yeah. Yeah,
that
but
was. Then we went fucking paintballing too.
oh yeah, that was fun. Yeah, that was cool. Yeah, that was an awesome fucking weekend. Like that weekend, like changed my life. I feel
That's
like,
awesome.
like literally, like a few months later, I was doing like over like 40, 50K a month. Like,
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that's freaking fire, bro.
hmm
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, that was awesome. But anyways, so like, let's talk about like what are like some like life lessons you've learned like on your journey so far on like becoming successful. Like
Okay.
maybe like key mindset shifts or like it's like maybe
Gotcha.
skill sets that you learned.
Okay. Yeah.
Mm,
So let's go with mindset first.
yeah.
It was all about frameworks. Like once I started learning about frameworks, and frameworks in my opinion, just my perspective in general. There's so many different answers to this, but frameworks to me they just mean quotes. You know, and the reason why it's because when people read quotes, like they get inspired, right? Like for me personally, like when I read a quote, I get inspired. So I always look at mindsets with the frameworks in mind to like change my mindset and change my perspective on something. And that's like one of the biggest and most powerful things that I've learned in my life in general. Because if I just read one quote about a certain thing that I'm like trying to learn, then that can like ultimately like help me like become successful in that thing. And it's happened before, you know. But yeah, frameworks in general is like one key aspect that I've used throughout my life, and it's kind of helped like shape who I am today and like how I teach other people, and just like pretty much in general, like inspire people like through that. You know, it's just super simple. Anyone can like create a framework. You know, anyone can create a quote. Like it's literally just the language that you speak, the expressions that you make, and really like the creativity that you come up with from your own personal like life. You know, like your experiences and stuff. So
Mhm.
for me, frameworks like changed my life. I would say three big frameworks that I kind of like have at the pinnacle at the top of my mind at all times too is the first one is everything rises and falls in leadership, and the reason why I say that is because everything rises and falls in you. Like you're the leader of your own ship, so whatever decisions that you make, like it's gonna ultimately shape your destiny. It's gonna ultimately shape your life, you know. And that's just it's the truth in everything. And if you look at it from a business standpoint, like every single business has a CEO, has a founder, etc. So every single person like is going to be relying on that CEO or that founder, you know, that leader at the top because it trickles down. You know, if the leader is stressed out, then like the people who are under the leader is going to stress out. The people who are under those people are going to stress out. It's going to keep on going all the way to the bottom of employees, and that's like the foundation. You know what I mean of your whole entire business. So if your leadership is not on point, like then just know that everything else on the bottom is not going to be on point just because of the actions that you took. You know, that's why I say everything rises and falls in leadership. Same thing with your health. You know, like you're the leader of your own ship. So if you don't have your health like in mind and you're not like working out like on a consistent basis, for example, or like just staying healthy and like slim, you know, then chances are, you know, like something's gonna happen and like one thing's gonna lead to another thing and it's gonna keep on spiraling until you like get that in control, right? So that's why I say everything rises and falls in leadership no matter what. That's the first thing. The second thing I would say is that it's not the strongest or fastest who survives, it's the one who's most adaptable. And the thing is, like in every single day, like everything's changing, right? You know what I mean? Like social media, there's like businesses going out, like a business, AI, like Elon Musk, like created like some crazy like trucks, like Tesla trucks, and now that's gonna like actually help like change like the way like truck drivers drive, you know. And but here's the thing too, like with AI as well, like all these like different robots and all this other stuff, they're gonna put a lot of people out of business, right? Or people out of jobs, and
Right.
that's why you have to be adaptable, though, right? You have to remain adaptable, and so like I can understand like how it's like difficult for someone to like like they work like 40 years of their life and they only know one skill, but the thing is like it's all about survival, you know. It's like who's gonna be the one that's gonna like make it to the top and keep on evolving over and over again, and just in general, like for us as human beings, like we have to keep on adapting in order to survive, you know. That's why like people have sex because like they want to keep on like the genes going, right? All that stuff. It's
Right.
all about adaptability,
Uh,
etc. So yeah, I don't know anything about that like shit, you know. I just like know
yeah,
like
that's
what
the
it
main
means.
reason. That's amazing. Why you have that, right?
Yeah. So you always have to adapt wherever it is, whether it be a job, your business, your lifestyle, like whatever it may be, whatever you're pursuing, stay adaptable every single moment, and it's gonna help you like along the way, 100%. But the last thing I would say that's like I always keep on top of my mind is it's all about perspective, So you always want to live your life in abundance because there's so much like to be like, bro. Like, there's just so much you can get out of life, It's just that so many people like they just I would say like 90% of people, to be honest, like they like cut themselves off of that, abundance. They only care about the scarcity. Like they're like, fuck, like I need to pay the next bill and like where am I gonna fucking eat? Like I don't want to fucking pay like $300 for a fucking course like that's gonna change my life. Like all this shit, bro. And I'm
Right.
just like,
Fuck
you
that,
gotta
dude.
put faith back into abundance no matter what, or transition into abundance and like destroy all scarcity because again, it's all about perspective. It's either half like glass half full, glass half empty. You know what I mean? And if you don't have that positive perspective in your lifestyle at all times, then you're gonna keep on attracting the things that you don't want to attract in your life instead of things that you really do want to attract truly. And it comes down to like your perspective again. Like if you feel like you're always gonna be a failure in life, then chances are you're gonna be a failure in life. You know what I mean? But if you attract that perspective, like I'm gonna be successful no matter like what it takes, then you will damn be successful 100%. You know what I mean? So that's all it is right there. But those three right there, like I keep that in my mind at all times, and it's because I can also like apply that to business as well. Every single like framework, and these are the frameworks, like I said before. It comes down to the framework. Every single framework that I use, like it can be like adapted to anything that you want in your life. And it just depends on like how you use it and how your brain like takes it in and your perspective takes it in, and then how you want to like flip it and like make it your own. So that's that I know it's like a lot, but
Yeah, I just wanted to let you talk, but like I had so many thoughts rushing through my head,
yeah.
and like that's fucking awesome. Like I don't even know what I was gonna say now. Like that's so much, but
But those
no,
three, bro, just
yeah,
three
like
right
those
there.
big three are like huge. Well, I'll just touch on like the last one, like abundance. Like so many people are afraid to spend money to make money.
Mhm.
Like that's the one I've always seen. Everyone's like, oh, I don't want to spend like fucking $100, not even $100, like to like make the investment to change their fucking life. Like I think like when I joined like Josh's inner circle, it was like $100 a month, and like I think I like told people about it. I was like, yo, like join this thing. It's like $100 a month. They're like, oh, blah blah blah, not spending $100. Like people need to understand like you have to like like come from a place of like investing in yourself. Like it's different if you spend that $100 on like freaking a new pair of shoes or something. But if you're
Yeah.
yeah, but if you're investing in knowledge and and you can like see the ROI of that return, like as in being like 10 to 100 times more, then it's a no-brainer, like
100%, bro. I agree because
mhm.
and here's the thing, like it's those people who like aren't willing to spend that money. It's they have fear holding them back. That like they really truly are in scarcity, and like it's gonna take like a lot of pain for them to like really change. Because for me, like it took a lot of pain for me personally. Like I was closed-minded before, and it took a lot of pain
Same.
to like realize that I needed to change my life, right? And so that's when I like made the switch. And, like I started taking like more action towards like the things that were gonna help me in life, investing in myself. I invested like over $100,000 in my own personal development.
Mhm.
Like I've invested that money and I've made the money back. Obviously, things like that. There's so many different like ways around it, but when you invest in yourself, like no one can take that away from you. So that's why, yeah, those people who like are not willing to risk that. Like I personally don't even bother to like push them to do it because it's a waste of my time for one. Two,
Mhm.
there's not ROI for me, and three, like at least I tried. And if that's their life, it's not mine. You know what I mean? So the people who like really want the help, like they're gonna vote with their wallet. They're gonna actually pay for mentorship. They're gonna buy that program. They're gonna pay that $100 per month, and it's gonna change their life because they're gonna like focus on that and take action. You know what I mean? Like just like you did. So that's all
Right.
it is.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, no, like everyone like wants it, but they're not willing to make the sacrifices as well.
Like,
Like I kind of touched on this in like another podcast episode, but pretty much like everyone wants to make like 10, 20, $100,000 a month and travel the world and do all this shit, but like they still want to like, go out like and drink every single day and
yeah,
they want to just like, waste time on like Netflix and video games and they still want it. Like they want to just like do the minimum amount of work. Like they want to spend like 20 minutes a day and like be making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. And
yeah, exactly.
it's like that's not how it works, like like
Yeah, it does. It's
like
very
you've
difficult.
like yeah, like you've worked your fucking ass off, like I've worked my ass off to like get to the position we are now,
Yeah.
And like, especially in the initial stages, before you have leverage, you
Oh
know,
my god.
like you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. Like now you have like people running your stuff probably, and like it's hands off. But like at first, man, like I'm sure you're spending like 12, 16 hours a day, like every single day for months.
Oh yeah.
Like,
It
yeah.
was that was the sacrifice that it took though, you know? Like it's some people like get lucky, they only have to do like 10 hours, you know, like 12 hours. But
Mhm.
you know, sometimes like I remember when I was like working with Ty too, like just on the come up, like I was working 19 hours a day. You know what I mean? It was like crazy. And that's just for his business alone, you know, it's not even my business. But then
Right.
when I transitioned to mine, like I am working the same amount of hours. It's the same exact thing. And so yeah, literally it depends on like the model that you're going after. Sometimes like, you can like do 3 hours a day and it'll still go. But as the most important thing is that you just start. You know, that's the biggest thing. And then the second thing is following through. Third thing is continue it like every single day, no matter what. Like just never taking your foot off the gas. That's the biggest thing. The day that you take your foot off the gas is the day that automation should start, or that it should have already been like in place. And then that's when you can kind of slow down and speed up again. You know, so
Mhm.
yeah, it's like in the
Right.
beginning, it's all about those hours and the 100% getting
Mhm.
that leverage too.
Right. Like hours and consistency
Yep,
until you have automation for that a part of like your business. Like,
exactly.
mhm. Like that's everything. Like,
Yep.
okay, so I might like shift the topic right now to something else, but yeah. So like, I might have already asked you this, like maybe like a previous call or something, but like what are like the most important things? Like you're like what 28 now or something, 26.
I'm gonna
What?
turn. Fuck.
Okay, true. Okay, like what are like some of the most important things you've learned so far, like in your like early 20s, maybe like even like 19, 20, you know, like
God,
yeah.
I would say like another thing is because for me like as a b-boy, you know, a breaker,
Mm,
there's a lot of ego when it comes to breaking because also like my breaking crew like we were like one of the top crews in San Diego, so like hella people like knew who I was, like all that stuff. You know, there was I remember I was in Las Vegas one time and I was at a competition and this guy from Germany came up to me and was like, "Bro, you're an inspiration. Like I watch your videos on YouTube," and I'm like, "Holy shit, this guy's from Germany, bro! Like this guy watches me. What the fuck, you know?" So it was because should I move here? Yeah, because it was just like it was nuts, bro. Like having that kind of like stigma and status, you know, um, it gets to your head sometimes. You know what I mean? Especially if you've never like experienced that before. So I think one thing is getting your ego out of the way. That was like a big like life lesson that I got was making sure that like you always like remain humble. You know, you have your roots in check, and so that way you can help other people out as well. You know, and create like a bigger impact. You know, without having like the ego like in your way. You know what I mean?
mm,
That was one big thing as a b-boy especially I got out of, you know, got that out of my head. Another thing was definitely remaining humble. You know, it ties into the ego thing too, you know, staying humble. um bro, like there's like so much to it, bro. Yeah, I would say I'm like thinking of like something like that's like really big and impactful.
mhm,
um Egos out of the way, bro. Like I think it's all about connections, you know. That's the biggest thing, to be honest, you know. Like when I was in my 20s, I've always like been networking like throughout my whole entire life,
mhm,
but when I got into my 20s I started learning more about business and stuff. Like it really is about who you know,
mm,
because like when you have like that frame of mind where like, oh, I have this friend who like knows this guy and I literally can just hit him up and call him like that and get like what I need faster, then that's gonna shortcut like my learning curve. That's gonna shortcut like my growth. It's gonna shortcut the go from like start to finish. You know what I mean? All that stuff. So networking was a big thing that I started to learn, especially and started applying. You know what I mean? So I guess we could probably
yeah,
talk about
yeah.
that.
Let's shift to network. We've been talking a lot about mindset stuff, but like that's your main thing. Like that's the one thing that like makes you stand out above like everyone like else I've ever met. Like even I'm like there might be entrepreneurs I know that might make more money than you, but you're the best at networking that I've seen.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
I
like so.
appreciate
Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, like what are like some like top like networking tips maybe like if for someone like who wants like connect with like people who can help them or like other successful people, you know?
Okay. So let me explain like the way like I teach networking in general,
Mhm,
so that way everyone has like a better frame of it. But
mhm,
I teach like just badass people, you know, like how to network, you know, in general, like how to create local celebrity status through networking.
mhm,
And what I mean by that, it's all about high status. Like this is just my personal opinion, but it's known, you know what I mean. Even Dr. David Buss like talked about it, like in evolutionary psychology. Like it's a book that he's like a famous like doctor, you know, and like just check him out if anything, you know. Like I don't know too much about
yeah.
that stuff, but all I know is that status is the number one thing that is a hierarchy And it's just like it's the main pinnacle point of like what everyone wants in general, you know. So when you have high status, especially when you're networking, whoever you are, if you have high status, this is what happens. Like the world becomes all around you, you know, like literally all their eyes are on you now. So if you think about like the celebrities like Will Smith, Kim Kardashian, Beyonce, like, you know, all these people, right? These all these like people, even like the president, you know, things like that. Those are people who have high status. So when you have high status, everyone's eyes and awareness starts to go around you, and that's when people start to go after you, like when it comes to deals, you know, in good ways and bad ways, obviously, you know what I mean. But there's more opportunities for you to happen, and to just come and receive because of the fact that you have high status, you know. So when it comes to networking, if you're like looking to connect with someone who's like someone that's like successful or whoever it may be, the higher status you have, the more power you're gonna have to like really connect with them at an easier rate. It's all about leverage, right? So you're gonna have that high status, leverage that high status that you have, and then connect with whoever you want to connect with. And like, there's certain strategies to do it, but it's very simple and doable, and you don't have to use like any money to do it. So
Right. Like, like, like networking is like one of those things that like people always get wrong. Like even like as I become like more successful, like people want to like network with me now. You know, they're like, oh, like, can you like teach me how to like, be making like 50, 100K a month as well, blah blah, and like, or like they're just like, whether it's in person or over like Instagram or something, and like they just come off really like in a bad way. Like I don't want to help them like at
yeah,
all. You
so
know?
that you're describing someone who's coming off as needy or thirsty.
Hmm.
Because
Right.
if like help me out, like I need your help, like you're the best person, blah blah, all that stuff, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a mistake. It's definitely a big mistake when it comes to networking. Like you never want to be thirsty. You never want to like come off as needy because now you're coming from the standpoint that you're just taking. Like what kind of offer, like what kind of value you're trying to give, you know? Like so one of the biggest rules, like just to answer your question like from earlier, is when you're networking, like you always want to give and not take. You always come up from a mind and a framework of I'm gonna give to you and how can I offer you value? You know, how can I give to you? How can I make your life better? Versus like what can I get from you? You know, oh, this guy knows this guy, so he can get me this. You know, things like that. You never want to be a taker. You always want to be a giver. And the thing is, like the beauty of giving is the fact that you're gonna receive back. You know, you are gonna get something back in return. It may be like tomorrow, maybe like in an hour, maybe a week from now, maybe a year from now, maybe 5 years from now. Who knows? But when you're building that network, you know, you're building relationships. You're building a bunch of bases of relationships all around the world, and with all these people in different like industries, different sectors, like all everything, you know. And so when you have that, and you always come from the frame of just giving with good energy, then like that's going to be your stigma. You know, that's going to be your reputation, and that reputation is going to go a long way because your reputation is everything. You know, if you have a bad reputation, like why would anyone want to do business with you, or why would anyone want to be a friend like with you? You know what I mean? Things like that. It goes back to that reputation. So if you mix all those things like high status, good reputation, you're a giver, like you know, a bunch of crazy stuff, you know, all these things, then it's just, bro, like the opportunities flood to you. It's like freaking ridiculous.
Yeah, like yeah, all those things like it's also yeah, like what you said like about having that energy as well, like just being like a cool person,
Yeah.
like if you're a cool person, like other like successful people also want to like hang out with you. If you're like a fun, positive, cool person, because like like I bet some successful people that like are kind of just like dicks, like they think like
Oh,
they're like the hottest shit around all because they make
yeah.
some money, and like you're just like you don't want to hang out with that person, you
Yeah,
know?
exactly. Yep. And that's like, and the thing is like, because you're always reading people, you know what I mean? Like when you meet people, like you're like seeing like, oh, are they good people? Are they good vibes? You know, all that stuff. And then when you see someone who's super successful and like they're like a figure of authority because they have high status, right? In your eyes, they have high status. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're high status as people. You know what I mean? Because if they're dicks, like, and they don't have like they have like huge ego. Like for me personally, I don't consider them high status. Like I
Mhm.
consider them like a low level person because of the fact that they're not humble. You know, like all that stuff. But it comes down to that perspective as well, you know. But ideally, like if you have high status and you are like you have a huge ego, then people won't want to associate with you just because of that fact, you know. So then it lowers your status. So
Right.
there's like no point in doing that. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like working against yourself in that way. But it depends on the person's personality and you know all that stuff and how they really want to like come off to people. But for me personally, like I love living authentically and like just being raw and like unfiltered and like what you see is what you get, you know. Like I don't like being fake or like fronting at all. Like it just I think it's just a waste of time, you know. And ultimately, like if you are like, especially if you're like an influencer and you're not being authentic and you meet someone in person, they're like they think this like you know this different like portrayal of yourself compared to like what you actually do, then it's just gonna bite you in the ass, you know what I mean? So like I think living authentically is like the best way to do it. And when you have authenticity plus high status plus like good reputation plus the good
Mhm.
vibe, like it's
Yeah.
bro, fucking crazy. Like,
High status, good vibes, being successful. Just combine all that shit together and you're killing it.
yeah,
Fucking.
bro. I believe in like dominating every single sector of your life, no matter what, and
Mhm.
having high status in every single sector of your life. So for example, like with networking, like I have high status in networking because of like I've been in the trenches, I've like put in the work, I've paid my dues. With Ty Lopez, like I have high status just because like it helped him scale his business, all that stuff. In karate, like I did martial arts actually in my background.
Nice.
I was a black belt, so I had high status in that. Like in breaking, like I was a top crew, traveled around the world. So like high status in that, like everything I do, and now like I'm entering the film and music industry, and like now like my title, I can officially say that I'm an executive producer. So it's like fucking amazing, but but
That's
it's like
awesome. Congrats, man.
like I want to dominate every single sector of my life with high status. So no matter what, like I want to be in the top 5% of everything that I do in my life, no matter what it is. And I want like my students and other people like who are around me to be in the same category. Like high status, everything, like dominating your life like to the fullest. So that way you really like go like all full out and you play full out with no regrets at all. So like that way there, like I just think that like having high status in every single sector of your life, for me is just a standard, and I want more people to have that standard as well. But it's up to them to choose that. I'm not gonna force it on them, but I will teach them. So
So great shit. I love it. Yeah, like always like shooting for the top, like wanting to be the best at like whatever you do. Like that's what I mean I personally have that as well. Like whenever like even from a young age, like even before I got into entrepreneurship and all this other stuff, I always wanted to be the best at whatever I was doing. Whether it was just like a sport or like even just a freaking video game. I wanted to be the best at that video game when I was younger. You
yeah,
know? Like yeah, like I think I used to like be pretty much like a pro video gamer when I was like younger. I was like in my
really,
teens, like 12,
that's
13. Yeah, and then like I actually used to play tennis as well, and I was playing like nationals and stuff, like in international tournaments and whatever, before I got to like entrepreneurship and all that. But like yeah, like always like shooting for the fucking top. Yeah.
yeah. And you know what? Like it's crazy because if I were to ask you this,
Mhm.
do you think that the competitive nature that you had from like all that transferred to entrepreneurship?
Fuck yeah, yeah.
100%, right? It's
Like
just in our DNA.
1000%. Like I always wanted to be better than other people, which sounds kind of like conceited, but like or whatever. But like I always wanted. I didn't want to be average. I never wanted to be like just like 9 to 5, blah blah. Like not shut up on 9 to 5s, but
Yeah,
you know, yeah. But
no,
like it just wasn't for me. Like I just didn't want that. I wanted to work my ass off to get like those like peak experiences. Like
yeah,
like I want like to work my ass off harder than most people so I can have the experiences that not many people can have.
exactly. Yeah, I understand completely, bro. I'm there with you. Like, I
Hmm.
don't want to live a lifestyle that's like average. I don't want to live a lifestyle that's just standard to like whoever is like standard that is. Like, I don't know what standard is, bro. Like, I don't care about that shit. Like, I just care about like living like full out, playing full out, like doing whatever the fuck you want to do in life, and helping other people do the same, like who want that. You know what I mean? Because
Hmm.
that's like that's part of like the art of fulfillment. That's part of like fulfillment in general, like creating impact in life. Like, I know a lot of people who are successful. Like, let's say for example with Tony Robbins, like he's like servicing like millions of people like in the world, and that he makes money from that obviously, but that's like fulfillment right there. Like that's creating impact. That's like changing people's lives on a massive scale. Like that's something beautiful, and that's like what I want to do. Just because of the fact that like it's just there's so much more to life than just like having that money, or having that success. Like it's the journey as well, and then helping other people find their journeys, and a bunch of stuff like that. Um, I'll tell you this. I'll tell you a secret though. Like for me personally, if I could just have like $500 million in my bank account right now, I'd probably be off of Instagram, off social media. I'll just be kind of chilling, whatever the fuck I want to do,
Yeah.
crazy stuff. But with that being said, like I'm not there yet, But with that, it's all good. Like it's all part of the process. So
Right. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, though, also like when you start having money, you start to realize that like you get kind of get you get more fulfillment out of like helping other people
oh yeah,
than like the actual money itself. Like,
yeah, yeah.
you
That's
know,
right.
like I like sure like fucking having money is fucking dope and like it's something that we're still both trying to strive for, even though we're relatively successful.
Yeah,
Like like at the end of the day, like having that like, Lamborghini and like the big ass mansion and all that other stuff and like be able to travel wherever you want, like first class in jets and whatever. Like I like I get much more fulfillment out of just like helping like one or two people that actually want to be helped.
yeah. Facts, bro. I agree. I do agree. Like
Mm.
it's like you've experienced it. I've experienced it like time and time again.
Mm.
Like when you help someone else out, like there's just like you can't replace that kind of feeling.
Mm.
Like for example, like when I retired my grandpa, like that feeling like that I got, like it was just a feeling of bliss, and it was fucking crazy because like I just felt so much power, like I just felt like so certain, so much power, like so much like great gratitude, and like it was just a beautiful feeling that I can't describe like in words, but it was just that feeling that like I can do anything in the world, you know, that I want to do, you know, whatever I pursue, like I'll conquer it no matter what. And that was just like one feeling that I got like from like helping my grandpa out, you know what I mean? And it's like beautiful, like that's why I like to tell like everyone, like if you have not retired like a family member, like definitely make it a goal, you know, because that feeling that you get like from just giving them like freedom, like absolute true freedom, like it's freaking amazing. And like you can't like, I personally can't substitute that for anything else. Like no matter like what kind of luxury like item I'd buy, like it doesn't matter, you know what I mean? I don't even buy like a lot of designer like luxury or anything like that, but I bought it in the past too, and it's just like it doesn't come close, bro.
Yeah, I mean, it's like kind of like cool to have, you know. It's
Cool to
like,
have. Definitely,
yeah,
yeah.
it's like a bonus. Yeah.
Yeah, it is a bonus. It is a bonus. But like to each their own. Like for me personally, like I haven't been like shopping at all. Like I haven't been like doing any of that stuff, like spending on myself. But like once I start like making like the money that I want to make and like that peace of mind, you know, then from there it's like game over, bro. Like I'm gonna go like do whatever the fuck I want. You know, it's just like I like that stuff. I like clothing. I like fashion. I like spending on like luxury items and stuff like that. Cause it just I don't know, just the standard that I want for myself, you know. So if you have that, then like go for it, you know, like, and don't let anyone else like take that away from you. Like you worked hard to get it, and so you deserve it, you know, no matter what anyone says. So
Right. Yeah, like you're like so like down to earth and genuine, which is like even though you're pretty successful, you know, like and that, what you said about like having like your style, like I think what was I gonna say, like yeah, like style is actually a huge thing actually as well. Like you dress like really well, and it's like it's something that makes you stand out with like in regards to like networking as well. Like could you like
yes,
maybe touch on that a little bit?
yeah,
Yeah.
I got you. Yeah,
Yeah.
so for me, like just to give background, then I like never cared about like what people thought. Even to this day, I don't care about it. But when it came to like my look, like my own style, my own personal style, I didn't even like care about that. Like I actually like wore throughout high school. I wore like a wife beater, you know, like the freaking like yeah that shit, and then and sweatpants every fucking day. The thought was crazy. I just wanted to dance. That was all I cared about. I would just go practice, and then I would just wear like whatever like clothes I had on, and that was it, you know.
Mhm.
And then I remember when it changed because I dated this girl. I started dating this like one girl, and she like loved fashion. She like liked like that kind of style stuff, and so that's when like it opened my mind up to the fact that oh shit, I should start like paying attention to like what I wear. You know what I mean? And then and I had girls before already, before even like just wearing sweatpants and stuff like that, like multiple. But literally, it just when you like level up and you start learning and just getting yourself educated on like style and fashion and all that stuff, especially when it comes to your own personal style, like it changes the game 100%, bro. And then when you're networking, you know, like when it goes into business or like whatever you want to do and in the social world, like if you have style and like you know what looks good on you and all that stuff, then bro, like you're gonna turn heads whether you're a guy or a girl. It doesn't matter if you're ugly or like handsome or like beautiful or you know like whatever it may be. Like it doesn't matter if you have like good style, people will look because that's like people like that. People like style. People like fashion, and yeah. So that's I encourage everyone to like freaking study it at least. You know what I mean? Like get some type of material that's gonna educate you on it because it's not gonna hurt you. It's only gonna make you better, and that's it. So
Right.
style your
Yeah.
game up.
Style is so important. Like yeah, I've been really like style fashion conscious myself in the past like 3 4 years, and I've always wanted to improve my style and everything because like I do realize like how important it is. Like I honestly at first I did it for like girls and stuff. Like to be honest, yeah, because it made me stand out. But like no, but then even at like business networking events and whatever, like I was at like a recent event and like I literally had someone like be like, oh yo man, like I really like your style, blah blah. Like can I like take a picture of your style and blah blah because I want to like copy it, you know? And or if like people make a comment about it, like I wear like these wristbands as well with like quotes and stuff, and people
Yeah,
always like comment on like behind me. They're like, oh yo, I love that quote, blah blah blah, and then like that could open like networking like relationships and
that's
whatnot as
right.
well. Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you're in a way like it's a little different, you know, like people. So in general, like the status quo is that people don't like change, right? But like in the scenario of like millennials, like with us, like nowadays, like people like everything that's different, you know. And when like the more different you are, like without it being weird, you can stand out. And so like having like bracelets and stuff, like I know that in EDM, you know, like all those like EDC stuff like that, they like wear bracelets and stuff like that. It's probably not like pertaining to that, like what you're doing,
Right.
but you might have like quotes on your wrist, you know what I mean? Like, and that can attract like someone, you know, because now that can tell a story. Like every single item that you have on yourself, like there's a story behind it. Like with this right here, like this ring right here, a lot of people like they
Yeah.
like the ring, you know,
Yeah.
not pointing at their face, right?
Yeah, I was see you do it. Yeah, I've got rings too. Yeah, and
Yeah,
like
so
and stuff.
yeah, exactly. Like every single piece that you wear, like there's a story to it, and some people don't care about the story, but
Mhm.
others do as well, and it's a talking point as well. Like in conversation, like some people compliment you like on their clothes, and you can go deeper into it if you want, you know. But those are just like little bridges that you can get, like kind of bridge the gap to like kind of grow and build that relationship with them, and that's just like that's another way of building rapport in a way, you know what I mean? Just building a friendship, but
Mhm.
yeah, in general, like having style, like it's gonna set you apart no matter what. Like whatever you put on yourself, like there's gonna be someone who's curious about it, and they might have the courage to come up to you, or they might not. But regardless, like find out your personal style, like get yourself educated on it, and then freaking like just like take those risks, you know, like and keep on like getting uncomfortable so that way you can become even more comfortable in your skin. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So yeah, it's all that, bro. Like, but style is like very important, especially when it comes to networking. Like
Yeah.
if you don't get style, bro, like chances are I'm not gonna want to talk to you. It's like
One.
that. You
Yeah, because you
know?
don't sound. It looks like you're a regular schmuck, kind of. You know.
Mhm.
Like.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, 100%, bro. Like it's and here's the thing too. What's crazy is that there's a lot of multimillionaires, especially like in their like 30s and above, who don't have like you know the style. Like they don't. They're just not like they don't know what looks good on them. And like to those people who have the money, like I say, like you know, like hire someone who's gonna teach you about style because there are style coaches out there. Like there's people that you can learn from, and it's only gonna make like it's only gonna help you out because if you're still doing business, then like you want to look good, you want to look like high status no matter what. Like I don't care what anyone says. Like you always want to portray yourself as high status no matter what, because there's just no downside to it. You know what I mean? So
Right.
it's like, bro, yeah. But yeah, it's all good. For me personally, like when I go networking and stuff, like I never like write off people because you just never know. Like if you meet that millionaire who's like in those sweatpants,
Mhm.
like they just don't give a fuck. But they might be a good person, you know. And so it's good to like know good people no matter what. So I would say just don't write people off, you know, especially when you look at them and you see that they don't have good style. Like it's okay because guess what? Like what if you like become friends with them and then you help them like improve their style? You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
that's giving to them. You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't write people off, but at the same time, like I still have in the back of my mind, like, oh, should I talk to this guy because like he has like poor style. You know what I mean? Like, but I say just like kind of remove that framework out of your mind. You know, don't write people off. I'll say
Mhm.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, like I think one time I was at a different event and like actually like I don't know if it's like the way it came up, but like I went up to like, this guy who he was just like someone that like you know Jason Capital. Yeah, you know
Yeah.
Jason Capital. Like I was at
Yeah.
like the summit and like he was calling out one of his students. It was like, oh, this guy's from Australia, blah blah. And like I'm actually originally from Australia, if you didn't know. Like,
Yes.
and I was like, oh, there's another like cool Australian guy who's like killing it. So like I
Mm-hmm.
went up to him after, and he like completely like like dissed me off. Like he like completely ignored me, and I
Uh-huh.
think, and I was like, yeah, I was like, oh, what the fuck? Okay, I'm
Yeah.
like, bro, like I'm like even more successful than you, but like I want to just connect with you.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know, it's crazy. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah, bro. Like, you just never know like who you're cutting off. You know, like it's
mm,
you just never know like who other people know. You know what I mean? And if you like someone does that, like especially that guy who did that to you, like
mhm,
that's his loss because like you're one connection away from me. You know what I mean? And
mm,
I'm one away from Ty Lopez or one connection away from like someone high status, right? And it's like crazy because if that guy like just like paid attention to you and gave you that respect, that mutual respect that you showed him,
mhm,
then he might be like on your podcast or he might be like in your
mm,
circle, and might be doing business with us. Like you know, like all of us may be making money together, but because of that fact, like you write them off mentally, right? And you don't want to do
yeah,
business or anything like that. And then if someone like think like, yo, that guy like wants to do business with you or talk to you, like you're gonna be like, I don't vouch for him. You know what I
mm,
mean?
mm,
So there's so many downsides to like writing people off and to like just being disrespectful in general, not giving them that, not being humble. You know what I mean? And letting the ego like get in the way. And bro, like people, I see it all the time, bro. Like, but that's all their loss. You know what I mean? Like it's not our loss at all.
right.
It's gonna come back. They're gonna come back begging, you know, and that's like that's the truth. You know what I mean? There's just the hardcore facts. Like that's what's gonna happen, and that's on them, not on us. So
Right, 100%, man. Yeah, like so I'm gonna like probably like do some finishing questions. I don't know how much more time you have left.
uh, it's gonna be 7 o'clock soon. So four
Yeah.
minutes. Okay.
Okay, 4 minutes. Okay, so I'm gonna just do like a wrap up question. Let's see.
Okay.
So we've covered like mindset, networking, and this has been like so fucking dope. But let's like, what do you think? Like, is there anything I should have asked you but I didn't? Like, what do you think?
Like, is there anything yeah.
Okay, I would say this. I would say be selfish. So like ask questions that are gonna personally help you, like right now,
Okay.
in your
Okay.
life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. See. Okay. What's like something? Oh yeah. Like besides like not being like needy, like what's one of like your top like networking tips? Because I mean I've learned a lot from you,
Mhm.
through like the VIP, and like we'll like wrap that up. But yeah,
Yeah.
like yeah. But like what's like one of like your I guess like top tips for like anyone besides like just being not being needy with like
Um,
when you're first networking with someone.
okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. So
Yeah.
when it comes to being needy, like and like kind of being like in scarcity, like living in scarcity, um, it's like being thirsty, you know, like you never like just keep this in mind, like you never want to be thirsty, you never want to be needy. So when you come to someone in, like you come into contact with someone new, like just literally keep like framework in mind that like I'm gonna give to them, like how can I help them, you know, like not how can you help me, how can I help you, you know what I mean? It's like that, like you're always going to them like with a giving hand, not a taking hand. That's the first thing, because that's gonna destroy neediness, because if you're always like offering to give, you know, then that you're not gonna be needy anymore, you know what I mean? But then here's the thing too, like there's people who like take this advice and they're like, oh, how can I help you? Like, well, I have this person. Like, you know, now they become needy. You know what I mean? So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, there's levels to like neediness and like helping as well. And like you have to just find like the happy medium where like you have to be able to read people. That's the biggest thing. Is that if you're able to read someone's energy, read like their personality, read like how they are, then you can gauge how needy, like how helpful you want to be to them, and then also like how needy, like how neediness your factor is, that neediness factor, how high it should be, how low it should be. You know what I mean? But yeah, typically speaking, like because that's very difficult for like beginners as well. They don't know like persuasion, they don't know like how to like read people, etc. Just have that framework in mind, like baby steps. You know, like just say like how can I help you? You know what I mean? Like, and you don't have to say that to them, but you can if you want to. That's a good question to ask, to be honest. You know, and that can even start a conversation with people that you like are brand new to you. You know what I mean? So it's all about giving though, no matter what, and then just reducing the fact that like you're thirsty, you want to get something from them because you don't even know who they are, right? Like in the beginning, you don't even know who they are, so it's like you need to get like build that relationship with them. You know, you need to get to know them on all like the pillars, right? So yeah, just yeah, I would say like just ask them like how you can help them, you know, if anything. It just depends, you know what I mean, bro? Like there's so many different ways around this, like trying to
Right.
give you like the best answer for yourself personally too, because
Mm-hmm.
you already know stuff too, because I taught you like
Yeah.
a lot of stuff too.
Yeah.
um yeah, bro, like in my opinion, like I just want to ask you the question, like what's one goal that you want to accomplish from networking then, because I can like, better cater that answer to you then.
From wait, sorry, like cut out a little bit. Wait, what
Oh
was your
yeah.
question?
um from networking, like what's like one goal that you want to accomplish through networking?
Like I want to have like a high status like social circle full of like
Mm.
successful people and like I guess just like yeah, I guess like awesome like high status people. Like that's what I
Okay.
want. Whether it's guys or girls. Yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah. I saw it like I always like push like for like having an inner circle for both guys and girls, you know, like
Mhm.
together, because that's just it's a mastermind. You're creating a mastermind, you know what I mean? So ultimately, like you want to create a high status mastermind, and
Mhm.
that would be like the goal. So now that you have that vision clear for yourself, um, creating that high status mastermind. Now it's about recruiting the high status players. So what I would say is like, you know, continue using the networking tips that I've given you already through the VIP,
Mhm.
and literally like as you keep on like building like your relationships and like going out there networking, meeting new people, traveling the world, doing like what you're doing already, like literally you're gonna meet like people, and then like always like plant that seed of like, hey, have you ever thought about having a mastermind, or like how or do you have an inner circle of your own, you know?
Mhm.
Asking those questions to people, you're never gonna know like who has one and who doesn't, you know? But if you just ask those questions, now you can like start pinpointing and planting seeds in your own brain and in their brain, saying that okay, this person might be a potential person or candidate for the mastermind that I want to create, you know? And yeah, it's about asking those questions though, you know what I mean?
Dude, that's fucking genius. I love that. Yeah. Fuck yeah. I'm gonna create my own mastermind. Yeah. Fuck it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
bro. Yeah, do it.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. Yeah. Fuck it. Yeah. Wait. Can I just one last question?
Yeah.
Like for like because right now I'm like in Las Vegas. Like what like for anyone who's like in a city and like they're brand new to that city, like how would you go about like creating a like social circle from scratch? You know, like.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
Um, Ideally, what I would do first, because we have the beauty of social media, right? You're connected with other people who are friends in Las Vegas, or who have friends in Las Vegas who may be high status players. I would
Mhm.
reach out to your friends that you know and that you have like a relationship with. Ask them who they know, like that's high status in Vegas, and then ask them to link them up with you. And from there, and you're asking, you know what I mean? It's just it's a favor.
Mhm.
So because of the fact that you have that relationship with them, they'll do it for you, right? So once you get introduced to them, link up with them in person, and then from there start to like build that relationship with them. Now you have another person who's high status in the city that you're in. It's super simple, bro. Super
That's
simple.
nice. That's awesome. Well, I think that we're gonna wrap that up since I know you gotta go, man. But dude, thank you so much for coming on, man. Like this was fucking sick. How can people like get contacted with you?
The best way is through Instagram. So follow me on Instagram at Shungunna, Shungunna. And then if you want to learn more about like networking and stuff, I have a VIP. Gavin he's on it. Like it's freaking dope. I don't know if you want to talk about that, but
Yeah,
like
we can. Yeah, we can talk
okay.
about it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I highly recommend the VIP. Yeah.
that's super dope, bro. Yeah, like in general, like in the VIP, it's a close friends group through Instagram. I don't really make any money from it, to be honest. Like it's more for like just teaching people, because my goal for that is to create exactly what you have, that mastermind. Like I want to create a bunch of high status people all around the world, so that way when another high status VIP member is like in Las Vegas, for example, like where Gavin's at, then they can just link with Gavin right away and be like, yo, like let's connect, let's talk business, let's do whatever, let's have some fun. That's what I want for the entire world. And it's like very small because we just started this year, but it's freaking dope because it's high status players only. So if you want to get VIP, like there's the VIP highlight, check it out. And it was freaking go from there. It costs money, by the way. Like I don't want low level players in it. It costs $1,000, but it's worth it because you're gonna make that money back anyways, and you'll be connected with like a big fat network. So it's gonna be freaking fire. But yeah, I don't think about selling it.
Right. I mean, it's like here's the thing, like $1,000. It's kind of just a screening thing, you know. It's kind of just like if you can't pay $1,000 to be part of it, then like you shouldn't be part of it.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want any, can't like if they can't pay $1,000, I don't want them to be part of it. Like it's just they're not ready for it yet, and it's gonna take you being in the trenches too. Like you gotta like you have to have some type of finances to like for one like afford $1,000. But the second thing is that like you're gonna be like even if you don't have that, you just save up all your money, you spend 1,000. You're gonna be connected to people who are high status who can actually help you make money. You know what I mean? So it's like freaking dope. Like there's other deals going on already. Like I've already made like some deals from the VIP as well, from the VIP members. We've made money together. You know what I mean? So it's like that, bro. Like we have yet to make money together too. Like, but it's gonna come, bro. Like that'll be freaking dope.
Fuck yeah. All right, man. I guess that's it. I'll let you guys go. Yeah. But yeah, thank you, man. Hey, thank you for coming on. I hope you keep crushing it. I know your goal is to shoot for what, like 1 mil? 1 mil this year?
Net. 1 mil net by the end of this year. But I think it's looking like 6 million. So
Oh wait, are you serious? That's awesome.
yeah,
Okay.
I'm looking, yeah, bro. 100%.
Fuck yeah, let's get it. That's fucking dope, man. All right.
Yeah, tight. Yeah, much respect, Gavin.
Yeah, much respect, man. Yeah, thanks for coming on, man. All right. Peace out, man.
Peace out, brother.
Bye.
If you got any value from this, please leave a review, subscribe, or share it on social media. Love y'all. Till next time. Peace.
This